For me, James Gunn has always been hit and miss, or hit or miss. It just happens to depend on what you're referring to. And with Warner Brothers, he's trying to build a DC that had fallen off a cliff, courtesy of Zack Snyder. In recent revelations, he actually went to Snyder to find out whether or not Superman should have the trunks on the outside or not. And I was thinking, that's kind of a foolish decision, which of course has me skeptical about Superman, but I'm not skeptical about what he thinks is going wrong. But I'm not skeptical about what he thinks is going wrong in the movie industry. I mean, this guy understands film and has made some pretty popular ones, and I think he's hit the nail on the head. Let's get into it. Here we go. So recently, James Gunn came out and talked to Variety, and he said the movie industry is dying because films are made without finished scripts, and Marvel got killed by output increase. That wasn't fair. And you know what? He's right. Trying to accelerate these projects and try to put them together and imagine and do some previs on some fight scenes doesn't necessarily equal a good film. In fact, oftentimes, because they were so ideologically driven, it ended up with things looking uncooked, unfinished, and discombobulated, to use a kind word. In fact, James Gunn stressed from the minute he took over DC Studios that no superhero movie under his watch would go into production without a completed script. And he was pretty adamant about it, and there's a lot of reasons for that, because he witnessed what was going on in the Marvel Universe, with 3 hit films over there, and basically with the outline that gave us all the wonderful films from Guardians of the Galaxy to Endgame, kind of was the blueprint for massive franchise success. Now, in a new interview with Rolling Stone, the filmmaker attributed the so-called dying film industry to Hollywood's fatal mistake of always making blockbusters before their scripts are officially completed. And by the way, that's happening with the Doom saga. It's also happened with many other things recently, including Captain America: Brave New World and the Thunderbolts. Oh, and by the way, we're definitely getting an undercooked Fantastic Four final steps, because I think this will lead to the absolute end of the MCU. Gunn said, "I do believe that the reason why the movie industry is dying is not because people are not wanting to see movies," which I agree with. It's not because of home screens getting so good, which they have. The number one reason is because people are making movies without finished screenplay, which is, pretty obvious. Gunn noted that DC Studios recently killed a project because the script just couldn't get in the right place. I agree, that's a good time to cut a project. Everybody wanted to make the movie, it was greenlit, ready to go, the screenplay wasn't ready. And I couldn't do a movie where the screenplay is not good. And we've been really lucky so far because Supergirl's script was really good, changing a word there, of course. And then Lanterns came in and the script was also good. I'm not sure why this guy is always cursing. Clayface, same thing, very good. So we have these scripts that we've been really lucky with, or wise in our choices, or whatever the combination is. And you know what? I think that's what he believes. Whether or not things are good is going to be up to the final audience, and whether or not you honor what the audience wants, which so far I'm a little worried about Superman. And I've been saying that now for the better part of 6 months. Let me know what you think about Superman, which is coming up here shortly. Another thing Gunn said that is working in his favor is that there is no corporate mandate from Warner Brothers to churn out a certain number of films and television projects at DC Studios, which is something that I would blame on Bob Iger, ramping up the amount of projects for their terrible streaming service with terrible results, and ramping up the film schedule as well, which has not gone well for them. Each phase has deteriorated in quality and ultimately in earnings. And of course, they say the obvious that Gunn is an alum of Marvel Studios and directed the 3 Guardians films, which I already said a little while ago, plus a Christmas special that actually went over really well on Disney Minus, which you can't say about a whole lot of Marvel projects. He noted that Disney's mandate to increase Marvel's output amid the launch of Disney Minus had a negative impact on the larger universe. Disney CEO Bob Iger has openly admitted to making this mistake, and he doesn't seem to have corrected it a whole lot recently, because even though output may be reduced, quality still is in the dumpster, and it's on fire, and it's floating down the river. That wasn't fair, it wasn't right, and it killed them, Gunn said. We don't have the mandate at DC to have a certain amount of movies and TV shows every year, so we're going to put out everything that we think is of the highest quality. I hope so. We're obviously going to do some good things and some not so good things, but hopefully on average, everything will be as high quality as possible. Nothing goes before there's a screenplay that I'm personally happy with. And of course, Gunn goes on to elaborate about Superman and the other things that are coming. I have skepticism when it comes to Superman and Supergirl and Lanterns and so many other projects that are just waiting in the wings. And it's not because I don't really enjoy Peacemaker. I think it's fine, and it certainly isn't because I found Creature Commandos to be just a waste of time and money. It's because I don't really believe that these projects are going to come out without a bunch of modern audience garbage. And that's ultimately my concern. If you have the same concerns, let me know in the comments below. At the end of the day, I'm more likely to trust James Gunn than almost any other filmmaker making superhero films right now. The obvious exception to that would be Christopher Nolan, but I don't think he's going to take the step backwards. I think he's going to keep going forwards and making epic projects that will, well, maybe dazzle and amaze massive audiences, which he seems to do as long as he's not allowed to do the sound mixing. Man, Tenet was a mess. Anyway, for my money, I think this type of statement coming from James Gunn is kind of an outline that all of Hollywood should be following when it comes to these massive projects. And I think at the end of the day, if they followed that formula, they'd be far more successful. But hey, anyway, that's my opinion. What's yours? That's right, it's audience participation time once again, and comments do help the channel. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below about James Gunn, the upcoming Superman film, whether or not he's right in everything that he said in the Rolling Stones article, and whether there's a positive future for DC Studios. As always, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya! Maybe at the Superman movie.